Hi everyone. Today we're going to do the next two parts of the Seder. So we already did Kadesh and Orchat and Karpas, and today we're going to do number 4 and 5, Yachat and Magid. But Magid's pretty long. We might not get through it all, but we'll see what time we have. So let's start with our song. Kadesh, Orchat, Karpas, Yachat, Magid, Rachta, Motzi, Matzah, crunch, crunch, Maror, Korech, Shulchan, Orech, what a delicious meal. Tzafun, Barech, Hallel, Nirta. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do the next two parts of the Seder, which is Yachat, breaking the middle matzah, and Magid, telling the story of leaving Mitzrayim. So remember our Ka'ara song. At the end of the song, it says, we placed our Ka'ara on top of matzos 3, the Kohen, the Yisrael, and the middle, the Levi. So all the Jewish people are divided into 3 parts. Some are Kohanim, they get to work in the Beis Hamikdash, and some are Yisraels, regular Jews, holy Jews, just like you and me, and some are Leviim. Now, actually, I should say that I was a Yisrael, because my father was Yisrael, but now I'm married to somebody who's a Levi. So I'm part of the Leviim, and they get to sing when there's a Beis Hamikdash. So if you see our matzahs, our 3 matzahs are Kohen, and our Yisrael, and the middle we're going to break in half. Did you hear that? The middle, well, I broke it into a lot of pieces, but the middle gets broken, and the biggest part of the middle gets put away and hidden for the afikomen at the end of the Seder. Now, this is hard to tell which one is bigger and which one is smaller. I think I'm going to say that this one's the bigger one, maybe because it's taller, but this one looks bigger because it's wider. So you can decide at home which one I should put away for the afikomen. Now, that was step number 4. Now, step number 5 is really the longest step of the Seder. If you look in a Haggadah, I used to do this when I was little. I used to count the pages to see when we would get to eat because I was so hungry. But if you look in the Haggadah, the Magid telling the story starts, and it goes so long because there's so much to say. And you know what? The more we talk about it, the more Hashem is happy. The more we talk about the story of how he took us out of Mitzrayim, the more he gets happy and happy and happy. So before we start, guess what we do? We fill up our first cup of wine. Hold on a second. We already had the first cup of wine. Silly me. We're going to fill up our second cup of wine, but we're not going to drink it. We're just going to leave it. And then we look around. I think I hear something. What is that? Do you hear it? Do you hear the knock at the door? Oh, let's see who it is. Do you need a place for the Seder?
Yes.
You don't have a Pesach Seder?
No.
Oh, come to my Pesach Seder. So we start our Pesach Seder making sure everybody has a place to eat at a Pesach Seder. If anybody walks into your house, oh no, there's somebody else that needs a Pesach Seder. Oh, do you need a Pesach Seder?
Yes.
Oh, please come to my Pesach Seder. We're just starting Magid, and the first thing after that is the Manishtana. Now, I sent you a video of the Manishtana already, so we're not going to sing it. But then, right after the Manishtana is the beginning of the story of leaving Mitzrayim. And it starts with Avadim Hayinu. We were slaves. But wait a second. Before we were slaves, something happened. And we have to rewind our brains all the way to the parsha we learned when Abraham was promised, where's my Abraham? He was a shepherd. He was a shepherd. And Hashem told him, Lech Lecha. Lech Lecha. So he went with all of his sheep. And it was nighttime. And Hashem said, look up at the stars. Do you see how many stars? Look down at the ground. Do you see all the sand? Your children are going to be so great. So many. Just like the stars in the sky. And the sand on the ground. But first, they're going to have to be strangers in the land. And they might have to be servants and slaves. So when does this all happen? If Avram is in Israel, how do we all get to Mitzrayim? Well, do you remember Yitzchak? Yitzchak had two sons. One was Esav and one was Yaakov. And after Yitzchak, Yaakov came and he had 12 sons. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Yosef, and Binyamin, and their sister Dinah. Well, remember that all the sons didn't really like Yosef, and they decided one day that they were going to get rid of him. So what did they do first? They threw him into a pit. And then they kind of felt bad. So Reuven came and said, let's take him out. So they took him out. And then there were people passing by. So they told him, let's send Yosef with these people. And all these people were going down to Mitzrayim. And in Mitzrayim, if you remember, Yosef worked for a man called Potiphar. Let's make him Potiphar. He worked for a man, Potiphar, and Potiphar's wife asked him to do something that was not very good. So Potiphar said, get into jail. So Yosef was stuck in jail, behind bars. And in jail, there was a baker, and there was a butler, and they had dreams. And Yosef knew the dreams, so he said, let's. So Yosef told him the dreams. And then the butler came out, and one day he came to serve Paro, and Paro had a dream too. And the butler said, well, we have to get you Yosef. So Yosef came and told Paro his dreams, and Paro made Yosef his right-hand man, his Mishnah Lamelech. But then, what happened? So Yosef in Mitzrayim, but all the rest of the Jewish people are still in Eretz Yisrael. So how did they get down to Mitzrayim? Do you know?
No.
There was no food. So Yaakov said, children, please go to Mitzrayim and get me some food. So Reuven went, and Shimon went, and Levi went, and Yehuda, and Yisachar, and Zvulun, and Dan, and Naphtali, and Gad, and Asher, and that's it. Because Yaakov said, I'm going to keep Binyamin near me. I don't want you to take him. I will be too sad if Binyamin gets lost like Yosef did. So they came down to Mitzrayim, and Yosef thought, these are my brothers. Let's see if they did teshuvah. Let's see if they know who I am. Let's see what they're going to do if I ask them to bring Binyamin. So Yosef said, please bring me Binyamin. And Yehuda stepped forward and said, "No way! Binyamin needs to stay with our father. You cannot, we'll bring him." And Binyamin came down. But then Yehuda protected him and didn't let anything bad happen to him. And all of a sudden Yosef said, "I am Yosef. Is my father still alive?" And they said, "What?" And they all bowed down to him. They couldn't believe it. They were scared. They didn't know if Yosef was still upset. And he said, "Don't worry, brothers. All I want is for my father to come down to Mitzrayim." And so they went and they got everybody, and all the Jewish people came down to Mitzrayim, and they lived there. And even on the way, a little baby girl was born. Her name was Yocheved. And they lived there until Yaakov passed away. And they lived there. And they kept their Jewish names, and they kept the Jewish way they dressed, and they kept their language. But then one day, a new Paro came, and they said, "Who are all these people living in my land? I don't like them one little bit. There's so many of them. Oh my goodness, we have to get rid of them." And so what did Paro make him do? That's right. They worked so hard all day. They worked and worked and worked, and they didn't get to sleep. They worked until finally somebody named Moshe was born. And I think that's where we're going to stop today. Moshe was born. And our next circle time on Monday, we'll find out who Moshe was and how he helped all the Jews come out of Mitzrayim. See you later. Good Shabbos.